Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quadar of GMS Gulf Coast, and I'd like to start by giving infinite honor and praise to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors are given up to the apostle elders, great millstone men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 plus years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. A selection of shalom to the bishops, the elders, the heads of camps, GMS by and large, as well as Akim, not named GMS, but walking one body, one spirit, in Yahweh Shai, preaching and teaching 100% truth, as well as calling on the names Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. And last but not least, I'd like to send a shalom to the hopefully elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four winds of planet Earth, north, south, east, and west, beginning with the men, women, and children in that order. To you all, shalom. I want to pose a question here because we are in those latter days, Lord willing. This is the end all be all of the kingdom of the so-called white man, as we know him in scriptures, the Edomites. I want to play a clip here by Redacted. And just pay this attention. He's going to interview this colonel, this retired colonel out of the U.S. military. I don't know his branch, but he was formerly a colonel in the United States Armed Forces, to put it like that. And some of the things I've said on this channel as far as you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans being super asleep at this particular time and more caught up in the pizzazz and the flash, or the distractions rather, that America puts forth in front of your eyes to keep you from serious matters. He's going to allude and speak to some of that as well. But the subject matter is, has this place lost its lust? Has the land of the free and the home of the brave, have she lost her pizzazz? I'm trying to think of that old saying in that movie. But has she lost her pizzazz? What has she lost? What has made her so great? And I say that sparingly, quote unquote. And the answer is yes. She's lost. She has lost it. She's been on the decline for decades now, and just like a kamikaze plane that's been shot down during the Second World War, and you Google kamikaze, it was those Japanese soldiers, whenever they got mortally wounded in their planes, they would just, knowing that they was on their last leg, they would actually fly their planes into the warships there in Pearl Harbor. So using that analogy, America is in a kamikaze spin, and don't even know it. But I want you to hear something. I'm going to play a few minutes of this clip. And Lord willing, to be edifying. And if I'm able, if it be the will of the Most High Yahweh Shai, I'm going to play another clip. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's play this clip real quick.
Is the United States still a superpower? Is it the greatest military in the world? Over the past few hours, the House of Representatives has passed a $886 billion defense bill. That doesn't account for the hundreds of billions of dollars they don't tell you about. This will go to President Biden's desk to be signed. Presumably, it should make Americans feel safer, right? It should propel us to superhero status in the United States. But it looks like it's done the opposite of that, as our U.S. southern border is like a sieve. Tens of thousands of people pouring across the border every day. Bridges crumbling, tent cities across the United States. The de-dollarization of the United States dollar is happening in real time. Just listen to Vladimir Putin at a major press conference over
the de-dollarization of the American dollar. That is a key. Point. That not only I, but the apostle elders, the elders, the bishops, the heads of camps, great millstone by and large, as well as Akim that are not named GMS, but they preach the 100% doctrine, the likewise doctrine, have been speaking to these points about this place is going to experience a financial kamikaze, and that's what we're in the midst of now. But we in this truth, Lord willing, we through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua understand that there's going to be a certain set of circumstances that are that they're going to capitalize on. We don't, I personally don't know exactly, but just checking the temperature, that's going to be a certain set of circumstances, whether it be another pandemic or this rise in violence with undocumented, quote unquote, illegals, this homeless, the homeless epidemic. I mean, you name it. It's a whole plethora. It's hard to keep up with all the little innuendos that has been created here in the past, 10 or 15 years. You pick one, you choose one. It can all be a catalyst to them going ahead and crashing this place as concerning that money. But the point has been made that we here at Great Millstone, and like I said, and the men that speak to likewise doctrine has spoken about the crash of the financial side of the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Past few days, talking about the de-dollarization. Was 87% of all transactions in Russia, now down to 20%. So is the United States still a superpower? Let's ask Colonel Douglas Macgregor. He's the CEO of OurCountryOurChoice.com, retired combat veteran and Sec Defense advisor under President Trump. Colonel, great to see you. Happy holidays to you and Merry Christmas.
Same to you, Clayton.
So I'll ask you, and I'll start there. I mean, it's a very broad, sort of 35,000-foot question. But when you see this National Defense Authorization Act, $886 billion, and Americans are struggling to put food on their table right now, should Americans feel safer that their government has just spent that amount of money to shovel to the Pentagon?
Clayton, this is probably a good time for a retrospective. We're headed into the end of the year. And if we look back on the last 2.5 years of the Biden administration, we can actually go further than that. But certainly if we just focus on the time since Biden took office, there's a legitimate question about the current strength and power of the United States, both internally as a society and externally as an actor on the world stage. And there's a real question about our future. Where are we really headed? And I think the answer is nowhere good. We are actually in a rapid decline as a great power. The problem is we have a government similar to the scene in The Wizard of Oz with the little man behind the curtain who is manipulating lights and images in front of everyone. And suddenly the little dog runs over, pulls the curtain back, and the people discover, oh my God, there's nothing behind any of this. I think we're getting close to it. We're not there yet because still the majority of Americans are not really paying attention to what happens overseas. In fact, too many of them are not paying attention to what's going on inside the country. A lot of them are beginning finally to notice the rising criminality, the human trafficking, the drug crisis because of the open borders. But still, there are too many Americans who are sitting comfortably watching football and trying to find out about Taylor Swift's love life. And when someone brings bad things up, too many of them are saying, well, it's not really my problem.
Hey, when they speak truth, you have to agree. I mean, what he said, we had Great Millstone, beginning with the leadership, the apostle elders, the elders, bishops, heads of camp, and not leaving out the men who have the likewise doctrine, not named GMS. We have said that same sentiment. Our people are too caught up in the creature comforts, complacent in how they move and how they think. And anytime you bring anything that puts them in their outside of their comfort zone, they don't want to deal with it. Coming into this truth, I've had conversations with loved ones, close family members, and whatnot, and it just created an atmosphere of awkwardness, you know, an atmosphere of awkwardness. And the majority used to call blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you don't want to deal with reality. You understand? We have spoken these same things, and now you have Esau, Edom, the so-called white, these so-called white folks here are speaking to the same issues. But mind you, they're speaking to the American public by and large, not necessarily used to call blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't care nothing about you. This is what he's speaking is more over to the portion of the population of America in which they serve. You know, who they answer to. You know, people in their political district, their hometown, their state. You know, and it has nothing to do with you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. The message that the prophets bring out on the streets, on the highways and hedges, and in these videos are geared to you, because you are the concern of the most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the Creator of all. You are His concern. You understand? So when you hear these people utter the same sentiment, it's not necessarily speaking to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know. But let's listen to that again, because that was a beautiful point that he brought out.
But still, the majority of Americans are not really paying attention to what happens overseas. In fact, too many of them are not paying attention to what's going on inside the country. A lot of them are beginning finally to notice the rising criminality, the human trafficking, the drug crisis because of the open borders. But still, there are too many Americans who are sitting comfortably watching football and trying to find out about Taylor Swift's love life. And when someone brings bad things up, too many of them are saying, well, you know, it's not really my problem. It is their problem. They live inside this country. They can't ignore the plight of people on the Texas border, the people in southern Arizona.
Let's grab scripture real quick. Let's go here to the New Testament. I think it's let's see. That's not what I'm looking for. Purpose of this letter. Word, no, this first that shall come as they scoff amongst saying the promise. This is 2 Peter's chapter 3, and it reads, it says, the coming of the day of the Lord. It says, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. For this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word, slacking. For this they are willingly ignorant of that by the word of Yahweh power the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water, and in the water. So, okay. Now let's keep reading. It says, verse 6. It says, whereby the world that was being overflowed with water perished. You understand? Perished, because see, this same sentiment went out during the time of Noah. You know, Noah prophesied for 100 plus years. You understand? Same as you see what's going on now today. You have men out here who've been prophesying, have been on the airwaves, since the early 2000s. You understand? And I'm speaking about the apostle elders. Outside the apostle elders, the apostle elders. I'm just leave it at that. But this goes back to the latter parts of the 60s that this been coming out. You know, that calling has been going out. So as the scriptures read right here in Proverbs, not Proverbs, but 2 Peter 6:3, it says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. They listened not, and they all were destroyed. Because out of that Whole plethora of people, only 8 souls survived. You understand? Because they took not the heed. They didn't take heed. They were partying, dancing, having a gay old time. And here we are today, putting out that same sentiment, standing in those same shoes as Moses, Noah was, and we're receiving the same type of feedback that the people of those days were doing. We're receiving that same feedback of the people that are right now today doing. Same thing. But let's keep reading. Verse 7, it says, "But the heavens and the earth which are now, by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men." So, you know, and to keep going further than that, well, that's the point. That's the point. This particular world, because the Lord had promised Noah, and by way of a covenant, of giving him a sign in the heaven, in the firmament, that there wouldn't be no more floods. But this time it's going to be a flood of fire. As it reads, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. And that ungodly men goes into you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You live long enough. You've lived long enough to see things, and since a punishment for your wicked doings has not come in a timely fashion, you set your hearts are set to keep doing, to keep walking in wickedness. Yep, to keep walking in wickedness. Anyway, let's let the video keep playing. Let's let the video keep playing. Let me see. See if I can find that scripture. Let's see if we can find that scripture. Since a speedy punishment has not come, your hearts are set on doing wickedness. Let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to Google it here. And it's damn thing. Since a wicked. Anyway, let's keep going.
The people in Southern California, but we do. And at the same time, we have to go back and look at this terrible war that's occurred in Ukraine. What has happened in Ukraine? Everything that we have predicted, and I'm talking about the government and its minions and its supporters in the mainstream media, has failed. All of the advice that we have given to the Ukrainians,
Okay, I found it. It's like, let me pull this out real quick. This is Ecclesiastes, real quick. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, and it reads, it says, "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the Son of Men is fully set in them to do evil." It reads, verse 12, it says, "Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh, which fear before him." Verse 13, "But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh." See, it's going to be good with the men that fear the Most High, all of those who've turned back, who are actually taking some serious turnarounds, making some serious turnarounds in their lives by way of hearing His word. Lord has put it in your spirit to turn around. But those, like this colonel was saying, just caught up in the football and the Taylor Swift, and that right there lets you know that he's speaking to the American public by and large. I don't know any of you so-called blacks that look at Taylor Swift, whatever her damn name is. I only know who she is by clips here and there. We don't follow no damn Taylor Swift. Anyway, let's keep this going.
The equipment that we have given to them, none of it has worked. It's all failed miserably. I think of at least 1 billion plus people around the world who pay attention. America is weak. America looks vapid. And then we have this president who...
America looks weak. Let me grab this real quick. This is Isaiah 33 and verse 1. It reads, Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealt treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, then they shall deal treacherously with thee. Now I want to grab that real quick. So I want to grab that in the let's see. I want to grab that. Let me clear that out the way. I want to grab that in the let's get it in another translation, shall we? Let's get that in another translation. If this dang phone will deal with me. Okay. Let's go to the book of Isaiah real quick. Isaiah. Where was I? Yeah, pop-ups. 33, I think. Okay. Pop-ups. God dang. You can't do nothing without Esau just... Anyway, this is Isaiah 33 and 1, and it reads, What sorrow awaits... is it? Matter of fact, let me go. Let's see what this one say. You know what? Let me try this one right here. I do believe that NLT, not the NLT, but the KJV was the best version for that. Some of these translations be going off. Okay, let's try it here in the NIV. It says, Woe to you, destroyer. Who does that fit? You ever heard that saying, when the shoe fit, wear it? Woe to you, destroyer. You have not been destroyed. It says, Woe to you, betrayer. You have not been betrayed. When you stop destroying, you will be destroyed. When you stop betraying, you will be betrayed. And this place here is world renowned for destroying and betraying its so-called allies and friends. Notice I said so-called. Anyway, let's keep going.
Has trouble grinding out 2 or 3 coherent sentences, and we just listened to President Putin of the Russian state speak for over 4 hours. He delivers a speech and then he speaks extemporaneously for hours, answering questions for hours without notes, because he has command of the information, command of the material. That's one of the big reasons that Putin has such support inside of Russia. He's a highly intelligent man, and he is absolutely committed to what is in the best interest of Russia. And he's done every questions for and then we have this president around the world who pay attention. America is weak.
America is weak. Isaiah 14 and 10, and it reads, And they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? That's what the other nations are saying now, man. They were there forming the BRICS nations, you know what I'm talking about? 49 countries and ditching the U.S. dollar. And here you have, like he going into Biden. Let's look what he's saying about Biden. Biden can't even get out a full sentence. Biden around here wearing, I'm not finna get no personal ordeals about Biden, but you see him, this past Halloween, you had them Edomite children dressing up as Biden and his Secret Service, and he was tripping and stumbling all over the place. Sloggy for that. He was stumbling and tripping all over the place. And you think the world don't see this? Let's let him say that again real quick about how weak America looks.
I think of at least 1 billion plus people around the world who pay attention. America is weak.
1 billion plus people around the world. America is weak. If you think some school-age Edomite children don't, around here dressing up in Halloween attire, mocking the U.S. president, someone, quote unquote, supposed to be the most powerful man on planet Earth, what you think these 1 billion plus people see? Again, Isaiah the 14th chapter, verse 10, and all that shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Or thou become like unto us? Let's keep going. Because now, as he going into it, he's saying how Putin is being looked at as revered as this great man, simply because he's standing up to the U.S. See, everybody is tired of being pushed around and being given sanctions and rules and regulations of what they can and can't have, this, that, and the third. You understand what I'm saying? Only because you wield the power to control their economy through that fiat currency. So what has happened through the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, because all this is a plan of the Lord. Another means of being able to deal with financial business between across the borders of different countries, that has risen up out of the smoke, out of the ashes, all this turmoil that the United States has pushed on the world. All the rules and regulations, they've found them a way around that, but we know where that's ultimately going to lead to. But Putin is being looked at as this revered man, although when you look at mainstream news platforms, they don't speak of him in that fashion, but these other nations do. All you have to do is pay attention to the other kings of the planet, the other heads of states of the planet, and they're all joining alliance with Russia and China, with the BRICS nation. So that should tell you all that you need to know as concerning your lying-ass media.
America looks vapid. And then we have this president who has trouble grinding out 2 or 3 coherent sentences. And we just listened to President Putin of the Russian state speak for over 4 hours. He delivers a speech and then he speaks extemporaneously for hours, answering questions for hours without notes, because he has command of the information, command of the material. That's one of the big reasons that Putin has such support inside of Russia. He's a highly intelligent man, and he is absolutely committed to what is in the best interest of Russia. And he's done everything in his power to avoid a war with the United States and NATO, while we have done everything we possibly could to provoke him and continue to do so. In the meantime, you've got over 500,000 Ukrainian dead lying on the battlefields. I don't know how many civilians have died. How many millions have left the country? It's probably well over the 14 million that we saw a few months ago. The Ukrainian nation is effectively dead. It's comatose. I don't think it's even on life support. The people who are on life support in Kyiv, those are the crooks and the criminals running the country. They're about to receive another infusion of American cash that they no doubt will transfer to their bank accounts on Cyprus and Switzerland and elsewhere. How much?
So in retrospect, this ain't nothing but a big Ponzi scheme that the United States is running with its so-called allies. You understand? Because as this colonel is letting the cat out the bag, that war in Ukraine is all but over with for the most part. You follow what I'm saying? This ain't number one big Ponzi scheme where they're milking the American public of their so-called tax dollars, because this place broke too, and like you said, and infusing the gangsters over there in Ukraine, those who gonna stay loyal to the fight. Check it out.
That will make any difference to the poor human beings dying on the battlefield is impossible to speculate. I mean, when you reach the point where, in order to be evacuated as a Ukrainian soldier or officer from the battlefield where you were severely wounded, that you have to bribe the ambulance crew to take you to a location where you can receive real medical attention, it's over. There's no military infrastructure to take care of anyone. People are simply being herded into gunfire. This war is over. The Russians are moving deliberately and slowly towards the West. And the great lie that Putin wants to conquer Eastern Europe is falling apart. And that's beginning to happen in Germany and Austria and France and elsewhere. Finally, after months of lies after lies after lies, the populations are beginning to say, what? What's really happening? I'm looking around.
Let's get this scripture real quick. Let's see how the things of Esau sought out. Let's see. How are the things of Esau sought out? Let's go there real quick. Let's see, Obadiah 1 and 6. Obadiah 1 and 6, and it reads, let's start at the top here. It says, Edom will be humbled. It says, Obadiah 1 and verse 1, and it reads, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power concerning Edom, these so-called white folk. It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And that's the deal, you know, amongst these heathen nations, man, America's been subjugated. You understand? And you're seeing an in-house fight for the most part, because when you speak of the Russians and the Americans, they're one and the same people. You know what I'm talking about? They go by these different names, but they all extend from the lineage of the man Esau. You understand? So it's an in-house fight. But as concerning their business and how they conduct borders and finances and control, you know, they've been, you know, they have to team up with other nations, which are heathens as well. You understand? That's why it says, let's read again. It says, an ambassador sent amongst the heathens, arise ye, and let us rise up against her. Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So this place is greatly despised. When you're talking about Cold War Russia, the USSR, you know, the Bolsheviks, you know what I'm talking about? Because this is all the political names of the so-called Russians, when they're starting to look like the knight in shining armor and all of this. America's looked at as an old rusty ass fork that no one wants to use anymore. Anyway, verse 3 says, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? You know, and that has been the sentiment of the Americans throughout their existence, these so-called Americans. You know, anywhere they go, they're so proud and pompous. Everybody's tired of these rag dolls. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, verse 4 says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. And I'm going to jump straight to the point right here. It says, verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? By way of these scriptures. Be honest with you. By way of these scriptures, you know. But we're going to go on. Let's take it Psalms 119. Let's go real quick. I think it's, let's see. Prayer. Let's see. I'm trying to see where. I know it's in Psalms. Let's see. Is it Psalms 19? Let's see. Psalms 19. Okay, this is Psalms 19. Yeah, this is Psalms 19, and starting at the top. It says how, and the question is posed, how, with all the little secret things and, you know, all the little hidden things and even his agenda, how would that things be exposed? Okay, first and foremost, the scriptures. The prophets are going to be given the understanding of the scriptures to be able to go into here and prophesy all the little slick stuff that he's doing. You understand what I'm saying? So, number one, through the Spirit, through these scriptures. Second of all, when you want to find out anything, what do? You go on the internet, you know. And we finna pull that scripture. It says, this is Psalms 19:1, and it reads, "The heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork." And you know, they claim they got satellites up there, you know, that way you can see everything and make phone calls, internet, all of the above, everything, you know what I'm saying, work via the internet. You can go to the Library of Congress from your phone, you know, via the internet, you know. And let's read, it says, verse 2, it says, "Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard." And that's going into the prophets. You know, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night sheweth knowledge. You know. Now you look at Great Millstone, and you see camps, all you know, in different countries all over the world. And the apostle elders that have brought forth this truth, you know, by way of the men that they learned from. These are from my knowledge, I've never known the apostles across the pond to go set up camps, like, you know, never. So how is this happening? But via the internet, you know, that the firmament, like it says, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. So, you know, by way of these videos and whatnot, you know, he's being exposed. Not only that, you can go on the internet and find out who the so-called Illuminati is. You can find out who these you can find out dirt on a lot of these heads of state, you know, all kind of things you can find out, you know, whether they label as truth or a conspiracy theory. You know, these are how the things of Esau are sought out. Verse 3, it says, "There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard." It says, "Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the ends of the world. In them had he set a tabernacle for the sun." So, you know.
You're the person with the gun, the person who would do anything to protect the ones you love. But did you know that you could go to jail simply for doing the right thing to keep...
Let's see. Okay.
All fighting stops. Secondly, then based on where everyone is right now, we come up with a way to disengage the fighting force. Polling data supports what you're saying. But remember, donors win elections, not voters.
Right. Yeah, sadly, maybe that's why Lindsey Graham, just speaking out, I want to play this for you and get your take on this as it relates to Ukraine. We've got so much to cover here, and I want to get your take on this. So this is Lindsey Graham telling us why he's thrilled that we'll fight till the last Ukrainian, that this is great for America and this is great for Ukraine. Listen.
Here's the strategy. Everybody in Ukraine's strategy is to fight to the last person. We finally have an ally willing to fight. We haven't lost one American in the fight to liberate Ukraine. We spent about 5% of our defense budget, not lost one troop, and destroyed half of the Russian military. So at the end of the day, we need to help Ukraine get to Crimea and sue for peace on terms favorable to us. To all the people out there talking about Ukraine, can you promise me Putin's going to stop? Can you promise me that China won't invade Taiwan if we show...
So his idea is that Putin's not going to stop and that this is great news. We have an ally in Ukraine that's willing to literally kill every Ukrainian, and he thinks that's a good thing. They'll fight to the last Ukrainian, and he's praising this. And by the way, we've destroyed half of the Russian military. Okay, can you unpack that for us?
Well, let's start.
Hey, I mean, go figure. Like I say, that war in Ukraine, that's all but over with. You know, like I say, they're just supplying their cronies, that the ones that are still on board with, so they can keep this gravy train going. As you know, some of the things I've heard, I can't verify, but I heard that, well, I ain't even speak on it because I can't verify, so I'm going to leave that alone.
Americans, Westerners, we have no idea that other parts of the world are gathering in massive numbers to denounce Israel and the United States for what they believe is genocide against the Palestinian people.
That crowd that you're looking at there, Rick, is an estimated 2.2 million people that assembled for this particular rally here.
Which is the size of the entire Gaza population.
Right.
So think of this as for every Gazan, one Yemeni showed up representing that Gazan in a protest to denounce who? The United States and Israel.
News they have given. Many countries are showing interest in joining BRICS right now. And do you really know what this means? It means that the US is soon losing its superiority. It's not that easy, but everything I'm going to explain on this video will make you understand. The truth is that many countries have been ditching the US dollar, especially in Africa. And what I can say is that BRICS is currently giving the US government sleepless nights. The US is also scared of BRICS because of the reasons I'm going to mention on this video. Before I even continue, in the latest update, a total of more than 45 countries are preparing to join the BRICS alliance weeks ahead of the summit. The new country that expressed interest and formally submitted its application to join the BRICS bloc is Palestine. A growing number of countries are showing discontent with the US dollar and America's control over global finances. Therefore, BRICS is making use of the dissatisfaction by convincing other countries to ditch the US dollar and trade in native currencies. BRICS is successful in convincing other countries to settle cross-border transactions in local currencies, sidelining the US dollar. Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, and ASEAN countries are ditching the US dollar and looking to promote local currencies for trade. The 23 countries that have formally applied to join BRICS are Algeria, Argentina, Bangladesh, Bahrain, Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Egypt, Ethiopia, Honduras, Indonesia, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Morocco, Nigeria, Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Thailand, the United Arab Emirates, Venezuela, and Vietnam. Moreover, the development puts the US dollar at risk as more countries are willing to stop using the greenback for trade. The decision for BRICS expansion will be combinedly taken by the members at the upcoming summit in Johannesburg. BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The next summit is scheduled on August 22nd to 24 in South Africa. Leaders from 69 other countries have been invited to attend the summit, revealed Ambassador Anil Suklal. The alliance is looking to dethrone the US dollar by putting their local currencies forward for global trade.
I'm finna have to close it off right there. I don't know what this is. Keep popping up. So, hey, with that, Lord, when it was edified, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. By Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostle. Elders of Great Millstone. With that, Shalom.